As far back as history tells us, humans have looked for the best possible ways to tell the most meaningful stories. And now, in the 21st century, we live in a time with the greatest opportunity to do just that, through the art of filmmaking. While some can get caught up in the commerce of making movies as an industry for the gluttonous consumers of entertainment, I believe movies are capable of so much more than that. It was 1878 when Edward Muybridge created the first stop-motion film of his time by setting up 24 cameras side by side, capturing every moment of a horse trotting. But it was Edison, George Méliès, and the Lumière brothers that truly pioneered the concept of what it means to be a filmmaker. Not only were they successful at improving the technology, but they were inventing a new art form. From the earliest films like A Trip to the Moon or A Train Robbery, you can see that the interest of crafting story with moving images became the newest sensation. Some were skeptical and others were captivated, but nothing could stop this new wave of expression. Movies were here to stay. But like anything in America, if it has a demand from the people, it's then primed and processed for market development. And that's exactly what happened. In the early 1900s, the popularity of movies began to increase, and so did the opportunity for investors to make a profit.
You sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter.
However, art and business don't always mix well together. And as the industry of Hollywood began to increase over the decades, this newborn form of expression is turned into a commercial machine, spoon-feeding entertainment to the masses.
Are you not entertained?
Ever since I was a kid, I've loved movies. This may sound strange, but growing up, we didn't have a TV.
Is that even possible?
But instead, an old monitor that just played VHS tapes. Along with that came a collected library of old westerns, family movies, and a bunch of cartoon reruns. At the time, I didn't know what it was that intrigued me about these moving images, but I do remember how I felt. It was a deep experience of wonder and inspiration. I love these stories because they introduce a world outside of my own, a perspective that opened my eyes to creativity and imagination. As a kid, I wasn't a cinephile, I didn't know the names of the directors, the actors, or the studios that made them. I was simply amazed at the emotion that these videos could evoke in such a little kid. Needless to say, I was hooked. And I think for most of us probably watching this, we could say the same thing. That this magic of storytelling through 24 frames of moving images etched on celluloid, later developed in a lab and then projected on the largest screen possible. It's captivated our imagination for decades. It's helped us laugh when we're sad, find hope when we're helpless, remind us what makes us human. It can draw out curiosity, fear, inspiration, joy, and it can do it all in one movie. This is why I believe movies aren't just entertainment when they have the power to do so much more. The more I watch movies, I recognize that the way I perceive the world is often influenced by how it's portrayed in a film. Here's one simple example. What I know about the CIA is purely crafted by the dozens, hundreds of movies depicting agents on some international mission fighting the terrorists with the fate of the world on the line. And while I understand that this is a dramatized version of reality, it still has a weight with how I view this occupation or this agency. But that's just one example. Think of the hundreds of character identities that movies use to support the story's narrative. And it doesn't end there. Not only does it shape our perspective, but it has the power to influence the way we think about life, existence, politics, and religion. And understand that this isn't bad, it's just powerful. Because if the story is given in a way that takes no moral or social responsibility, then it can breed a wrong worldview altogether. It can give misguided expectations about life and the world around us, offering a false sense of success, romance, identity, money. You can quickly see how movies influence culture, and on a macro scale, they have the power to build empires and conversely destroy them. But that's the power of movies. Here's the opportunity. In 2018, I started my video business. Not solely to make a profit with a skill, but to one day make movies that intentionally move, inspire, and change people for good. Because I think that films have a great way of expressing truth where words seem to fail. Shedding light on conversations that people aren't willing to discuss, giving clarity to misconceptions, providing direction when life seems aimless. but at the same time, they can leave you wrapped in a mysterious enigma of thought, which provokes conversation beyond the theater screening. These are the kinds of movies that I want to make. Ones that reach deep into the layers of human existence and draw meaning, incite curiosity, cultivate change, and spark conversation. But it hasn't been until the last decade that indie filmmakers like you or like me have an opportunity to make this dream a reality. With accessibility to pro-level camera equipment, the only thing that stands between us and making a movie is the ability to tell a good story, to pitch our ideas to investors, and to make friends with other collaborators. Our excuses are running low. Just look at the movie The Creator that was shot on a prosumer camera, the FX3 entirely, and it was a big blockbuster movie. We have one of the greatest opportunities in history to make a difference through this medium of film by the ageless power of storytelling. I challenge you to start honing your craft, not simply as a technician of camera gear, but as a master of the human experience and a director of emotion through this visual format. Begin saturating yourself with books, podcasts, movies, and videos, all that point you in this single direction. So with that said, I really want to focus this channel more on independent filmmaking. How to come up with ideas for your next movie, how to write a script, how to pitch to investors, get a good crew, everything from the pre-production to the post-production process. I want this to be a resource where we can learn together, grow, and then create, and eventually make that dream of making a movie come true. Also, if you have any other topics that you'd like to discuss in the upcoming videos, just let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.